My name is Jan Welch, and welcome to episode 15 of the Then and Now Blading podcast featuring Si Coburn. Si Coburn comes out of the UK, and he's a long-time aggressive skater who's transitioned into big wheel blading. But the type of big wheel blading he does is a fusion between aggressive and big wheel. So he does grinds, lots of airs, roll-ins, a lot of cool skating, and I really enjoy watching his style and what he does. And I'm really excited to announce that between the Now Blading and Big Wheel Blading, we're collaborating to release this podcast episode as well as a full new edit from Sai that will be on the Big Wheel Blading YouTube channel. So I'll have links to that in the description below. Make sure to check it out after you watch this interview, or you can check it out before you watch this interview, but watch them both because they're both really cool and really interesting. I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to be notified of all new uploads. Follow me on social media. I have links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram in the description below, as well as links to my Patreon page and a PayPal donation page if you want to support this channel and the things I'm doing. Let's get started with episode 15 of the Then and Now Blading podcast. Hello, Sai. Welcome to the show. You've been skating for a really long time. You started out aggressive skating and then transitioned to big wheel blading later on in your career. And recently, you've been filming a new profile edit on big wheel blades, and we're going to be featuring it on the Big Wheel Blading YouTube channel. So it's going to be a collaboration between you, Big Wheel Blading, Then and Now Blading podcast, and some of your other sponsors. So I want to get into your aggressive skating a little bit and a little bit about yourself. So first of all, how old are you now, and where do you live?
So I'm 38 years old. I was literally a month ago, I turned 38, and I live in Gloucester, which is in the southwest of England. It's just below the Midlands. So sort of kind of between Bristol and Birmingham, for people who know in the UK. So yeah, sort of tucked away in the countryside a little bit.
And is that where you grew up and started skating?
Yeah, so yeah, I've always lived in Gloucester. I did move over to the next town, which is Cheltenham, a few years back, but it's a bit cheaper to live in Gloucester. So yeah, moved over back to Gloucester, and yeah, grew up skating in Gloucester. And there's not too much around here to skate these days, but it's still just like my friends and family are here. So it's sort of like a little hub, just somewhere to rest up really. So,
and how far are you from Bristol?
It's about 25 miles. So it takes about 30-40 minutes on the motorway if the traffic's good. So it's not too bad at all. It's quite close.
Is Bristol where you do most of your skating and filming at these days?
Yeah, for sure. It kind of always has been really. That's back in the day, it was always kind of like the skaters were sort of spread around Bristol. There was a few cool ones that were living in Bristol at the time, but it was sort of the place where everyone would sort of just come together. It would just be sort of like the main sort of like meet-up point for everyone. It's kind of always been like that really. So.
And how's the skate scene in that area now? Is there still a lot of skaters, or is it coming back?
Yeah, so I would say it dipped out for a little bit, probably like it did in most places around the world. But more recently, there seems to be a lot of like the older sort of aggressive skaters getting back into it. And there's a lot of like other sort of recreational / like big wheelers since the pandemic. So it's good to see these people actually kind of like carrying it on, which is cool. So yeah, there's a scene there. I think it's got potential to grow. So yeah, I think maybe this year we're going to try and push it a few of us and just try and get more people on it and get more like group skates on the go and stuff. So yeah, it's good.
Have you made any new friends or met new skaters since the pandemic?
Oh yeah, big time. Like there's been a lot of old school heads which I have not seen for ages, so it's been good to see them and like reconnect with them. But then yeah, there's been so many more people coming through, which is amazing to see. And even in my hometown, there's like, yeah, it's probably about another 5 people that started skating like just in Gloucester. So it's not a big amount, but it's better than it has been for like a long time. So
yeah, that's really cool. How big is your town?
It's not that big. I don't know the population. I don't really know what to compare it to. It is classed as a city because it's got a cathedral.
Okay.
But it's not the biggest place in the world. You could probably skate across town in like 10 minutes. So
it's big enough to have 5 more skaters though. So that's pretty good.
No, definitely. Yeah. It's not, I think there are more sort of spread about, but they're sort of like the extra 5 that I know about. So I'm sure there's probably more people doing it. So yeah, it's good.
So how old were you when you got into skating, and how did you get into skating to begin with?
Oh man, I think I was like 12 or 13 at the time. So like most kids at that age, especially in the UK, you're heavily into football. And that's all I wanted to do was just play football. I remember it was my friend Pete. I think we went to different schools. And I remember once he was like, "Oh, we should try this thing like rollerblading, like everyone's doing it, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Oh, we'll just get some like cheap skates and just, we'll take the middle wheels out and all this stuff." And I was like, "I'm not really sure. Like, I kind of just want to play football." And I think he persuaded me one day, and I tried them on, and I think they were, I want to say like Senecas, something. If that rings a bell. They were like just these real crap sort of plastic sort of skates.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah. I think we took the middle wheels out, and yeah, we just went for like a little cruise, and just straight away, it was just like, whoa, this is amazing. And then I think he lent a video off a friend, and I think it was Mad Beef.
That's a classic.
That just blew our minds. We were just like, what the hell are they doing? Like jumping on rails, and like even just like the music that came with it, everything. It was just like at that age, you absorb everything, don't you? So you're just like, whoa, this is like a whole new thing. So yeah, he kind of got us into it. So I kind of need to thank Pete for that. So just Pete.
Were you still into football after that, or did you just completely go into skating?
I completely just sacked it off. Yeah, I mean, we may have done it for like a few weeks after every now and then, but I think we were just hooked, because there was like a good group of us doing it. It was like it had that social side to it, and that's when like all the videos are coming out in new skates and everything. So it was just going off. So
what was your first pair of proper skates you got?
I think they were Roses Romes.
Okay.
I think they were black with like a blue cuff. And yeah, they were like a proper, well, they would have been big wheels back then, actually. They probably would have been 80 mil thinking about it. So yeah, they would have been yeah. And then after that, I think my first real sort of aggressive skate was M12s, the Majestics, I think, when they came out. So
I remember waiting for those skates. I ordered them from Roller Warehouse, and I waited like 4 months for them to show up. Every day UPS would drive down the street. I'm like, is it here yet? Nope.
Just waiting and waiting.
I love those skates though.
Yeah, that was cool, because then you had you get like sent like a magazine with all the skates and the stuff. So you'd have the pictures, and you could you'd just be waiting. I remember being at school, just like flicking through all the like catalogs and stuff, and just being like, that's the skates I want, just waiting for them. So it was cool.
Does anyone from your original scene or your original crew still skate?
Oh, that's a good question. My good friend Baggy, Scott Bagnall, he used to skate for Solomon back in the day. He's in and out of it. So he still would class himself as a skater, but he's not quite doing it quite as much. I'd probably say from the original OG crew, I think I'm probably the only one still doing it. If I think about it, a few of them sort of jump in now and then just for like old time's sake, but yeah, I think I'm the only one who's sort of doing it all the time, if you know what I mean.
And back in that day, I mean, inline skating around the UK was pretty big. There was a lot of different scenes, a lot of different groups. Did you do a lot of traveling back then to different cities and skated with different people? Yeah,
we were traveling because none of us were really driving at the time. So we were getting a train over to Wales, which is sort of like from here, the border from England to Wales it's only about half an hour away. So we were going into a place called Newport. They had a big indoor skate park there, and we were getting a train down to Bristol. And then when everyone started to drive, that's when we sort of expanded out everywhere pretty much. So, but yeah, mainly Bristol and Wales in Newport. So
what was the UK scene like in those days compared to how it is today?
It's crazy different. I mean, you would go to a skate park and there would be like hundreds of kids on skates. Do you know what I mean? They'd literally be everywhere. Everyone and anyone was doing it. So I just remember there being so many different groups around everywhere. So everyone had their own sort of like little crew going on. And every now and then it would all sort of come together if there was like a big jam and stuff. So it would just be it'd be hundreds of skaters. So yeah, compared to now, it's a massive difference. But I think it's just changed a lot since then anyway, because obviously we've got older. Yeah, there's just probably not as many kids doing it these days, which is a shame, because that's kind of where we need it to be, really. It'd be nice to see what we had for kids these days, if you know what I mean, but I feel that's mainly where scootering at with that.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen, certain places in the world are starting to have a resurgence of, really young kids, but hopefully that happens in Europe again too.
Nice.
Who were some of your influences growing up?
So local heroes, there would be Rich Taylor, because he was from a place called Barry Island, so he was in Wales, so he was always going to Newport. So yeah, rest in peace, Rich. And then there was a few Bristol heads like Al Jones, Alex Roberts, those sort of guys. And then on like the sort of international scene, it would have been like Josh Petty, Dustin Latimer, Brian Jaggers, Dom Sagona, just all the old school heads, the real popular guys at the time. So yeah, they were sort of like my main sort of influences. I think anyone who liked to skate kind of fast, just had that sort of style. That's what I was really into. So
Richard Taylor definitely skated fast. I
he was
met him
amazing.
at the 1999 British Nationals.
Yeah.
I judged that with Chris Peel. We were like the judges two of the judges. So I met a lot of the skaters in the UK on that trip, and that was pretty cool. And it was a PlayStation Skatepark in London.
Oh, no way. Yeah. God, man, yeah. When was that? 99?
Yeah, 99. Yeah, 99.
Yeah. Crazy. I might have actually been there that day.
It's possible.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, Rich was amazing. Like his whole vibe and just positivity was just infectious. So he was crazy.
I think the first time I met you was when you guys came to San Diego.
Yeah.
You came with like the most ridiculously large group of kids from England. How many there were you?
I think there was 8 of us in total, but then we had like add-ons with actually no, there was 8 of us that originally went out, but then I think there was another group out there at the same time. So there was a few times where we sort of crossed paths. So yeah, there'd just be absolutely loads of us. But yeah, those trips were good fun.
I just remember getting hit up by somebody being like, "Hey, we're gonna come. Can we stay at your house?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then it was like, I realized there was like 14 people or something.
Sounds about right.
Did you guys come to my house?
I don't think so. No, I remember seeing you in, I think it was San Dieguito. Mm-hmm. San Dieguito. That double set.
For the Frazer Watson true top
yeah. God, yeah.
Disaster.
Yeah.
That was a pretty crazy trick. I got some good clips of him on that when he was there for that trip. We filmed a little bit in Orange County. Yeah. And then he kind of disappeared and then started skateboarding, I believe.
Yeah. I think he's still skateboarding now. So Fro was always sort of that kind of guy that when he was into something, he's like 110% committed to it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, he was absolutely amazing at skating, like on another level. So he was mental.
Other than seeing Frazer do that crazy disaster true topporn at San Dieguito, did you have some other good memories from that trip?
Too many. I actually do think about those trips quite a lot, especially the first one, which would have been, I think it would have been that year. So that was sort of our first experience going abroad, like with friends. And it was almost like a tourist trip, because every spot you went to, it was sort of like, oh my God, like this guy's done that on that, and this is in that video and stuff. So everything was like, you already kind of knew it a little bit, if you know what I mean. But tricks wise, man, there was loads of stuff that went down. It's kind of hard to remember. So yeah, there was Frazer's disaster tree topporn. There was lots, but I just can't think off the top of my head right now. There was so much that went on, but because we met up with Ski that year as well.
That's right.
And I think we met up with him 2 weeks after he'd done the 12 flat 12.
Mm-hmm.
He'd only just done that. And then, yeah, he was just taking us around like everywhere, like all the spots. And he was doing some crazy stuff as well, just insane, like massive gaps and big drop rails and everything.
Who was all there with you?
I think it was me, Mark Treble, Frazer. There's a guy called Tom Martin, if you remember him. There's another guy called NT. Baggy. So yeah, Scott Bagnall. Oh no, was he there? I can't remember who else. Because there was a few years we went. I think we went like 3 years in a row, and they all sort of merge into one now. But yeah, that first year was definitely me, Treble, Frazer, Al Jones. Yeah, I think there was just a few more sort of like local heads that we all sort of like used to hang around with. But yeah.
And that explains Mark being there all those years with all the BHC skaters down in Southern California.
Yeah, he made all the connections out there for sure. So he's been out there quite a lot. So yeah, he met a lot of people.
When you started getting, good at skating and recognized for your talent, what kind of goals did you set for yourself? Like, what did you want to achieve within the sport?
I don't know. I guess to begin with, it's sort of every kid's dream to like have a sort of pro something, whether it's a skate or a wheel or something. So I guess there was that. But I think initially, when I first started out, you're like, I want to get a sponsor or something like that. And I think that was my first initial thing. And then from that, it would have been like, yeah, to sort of have my name on something. And just to, I don't know, just to like, yeah, I guess like have the recognition and just sort of kind of make a name for yourself and just, I guess it's just sort of like gaining respect off people, isn't it, almost? And yeah, I don't really know what else. Sort of just gone with the flow, just always enjoyed it. So I've not really thought too much about where I want to be with it. So yeah, I guess over the two ones, it was sort of, yeah, getting sponsored and maybe one day having like my name on something. That was always sort of like the main goals, and just having fun. That was a biggie, and just getting clips and just traveling, all that sort of stuff.
And you met all those goals. You got sponsored. Who's your first sponsor?
My first ever sponsor was a little tiny skate shop called Hijinks, which is in Gloucester. But then my first sort of proper sponsor was a shop called UK Skate at the time. And they were probably the biggest skate shop in the UK at the time. And Steve, who ran it, he was just sending us all like everywhere. So that was probably like the first major one. And then my first real sort of like boot sponsor would have been Rems. So I kind of had like a few little flow deals with a few other companies before that, just sort of like just free stuff here and there. But yeah, Rems was sort of like the first major kind of like boot company, I suppose.
And you skated for them for quite a while, right?
Yeah, it would have been like 6 or 7 years, maybe, something like that. So really good, man. Like Kato is a legend. He's a real good guy, like really funny. He did some like great tours and stuff. Like he got some of the pro team over to the UK, did like a few tours there. So it was always good times with them lot. So like Nick Wood, he's like absolutely mental.
Awesome. Yeah, Nick Wood is crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time with them for sure. So I really like the skates.
And then you actually got a pro wheel from Lade, is that correct?
Yeah. So that would have been 4 years ago, something like that. So yeah, that was a bit of a dream come true, really. I remember when Neil, the guy who's running it, sort of offered it to me. I was like, yeah, like 100%, that would be the one. So it's just nice just to have something there. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's really cool. And is that brand still around?
No, they died off. I can't remember what happened. I think they had maybe like a few sort of like financial difficulties with it. I think whoever distributed their wheels, I think they kind of messed them over a little bit. I can't remember the ins and outs, but yeah, they sort of got messed around a lot with it, which kind of put them out of business a little bit. So yeah, so they weren't around for that long, Lade. Maybe like a couple of years, something like that.
Yeah, I remember seeing him for a little while and then not hearing about him anymore. So it's cool. You managed to get a wheel out of the hole.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, just in time. Which is
awesome.
So, yeah.
And who are you sponsored by now?
Okay, so I'm with Rollerblade, sort of like for the UK side of that. So Slick Skates, which is a shop in London. So big up Slicks. They're doing really good things for the scene down there, because the scene is unreal in London at the minute. The Blade Clothing, which is my friend Sean's clothing company. He's from Wales, close to Cardiff. Birdie Audio, which is it's like a speaker system, which is, it's a guy in Gloucester who's doing it, but I know, and he's just trying to push it in like sort of different avenues. And then weirdly enough, can you remember the Extreme channel?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm an ambassador for them as well, which is really weird. So yeah, that was kind of like, that happened the last sort of year or so. So that was really weird how that came about. But yeah, I'm with them as well. So I think that's it. Yeah.
Are you what about Endless? Are you writing for them?
Nah, so I talked to Brad quite a lot. So we've got like a good relationship going. I originally just tested out the pink frames. I think they were 90 mil. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what the word is, sort of dedicating myself to him, if you know what I mean, with the frames. Like, I love the frames anyway, so I'm just like, I don't really need to skate much else. If I get a new set of skates off Rollerblade, I'll skate those skates as they come until like they're kind of worn out a little bit, and then I'll switch the frames over to Endless. But yeah, it's not a sponsorship. It's more just like a friendship, I guess. Just sort of, you know, try some frames out, see how you get on with him, and yeah, just sort of try and push it for him and
Cool.
get some free stuff off him now and then. So yeah, it's
yeah,
cool.
those frames look nice. I haven't skated them, but
Have you not? Yeah,
no,
like,
but they look awesome.
Yeah, they're great frames. I'm not just saying that. Yeah, they are actually really solid, really quick. They make a really cool noise as well. It's really weird. So they kind of sound like fighter jets. It's really odd. But yeah,
that's funny.
When you get quick enough, yeah, and you get the wind going through it. Yeah, it's cool.
And then how did you get added to the Rollerblade UK team?
So that, I remember being at work, bored as hell, and then I just randomly had a voicemail message off Danny Aldridge. I was like, okay, like a bit weird, like haven't spoken to him in like years. And then he was just saying that my name had cropped up a few times with Rollerblade. He wanted to try and hook me up. I think that was kind of his job at the time, was to sort of try and hook someone up in the UK. He said he liked what I was doing, blah, blah, blah. But he said these things can take like a while, so just sort of bear with him. Like, he couldn't promise anything. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, I'm down if it happens. Like, I'm 100% down. Didn't hear anything probably for like a good few weeks, maybe like a couple months. Sort of chased him up on it, just being like, yo, Danny, like, what's up? Have you heard anything else? And I think he said it was still sort of in the pipeline, because they have to have all their team meetings and all that sort of stuff. And he was like, yeah, like it should still be all good, but just sort of bear with me. And then I think a month or so after that, I think I've been to Winterclash. I think he was there as well. And I'm pretty sure, because everyone was at Winterclash, they had one of their team meetings out there. And it was on the way home from Winterclash, he messaged me just saying like, yeah, like it's done. It's a done deal. They're going to send you some stuff. So I was absolutely buzzing from that. I was like, oh my God, this is like amazing, like Rollerblade, like what's going on? And then got a package through. And then I sort of said to Danny, I was like, what's the deal then? Like, what are we calling this? And he was like, oh, just say like Rollerblade UK ambassador. So I was like, sweet. And I was like, what do you need me to do? He's like, just literally just have fun. So I was like, sound. So just went from there. So yeah, big up to Danny. Like, he's an absolute legend. He's on it. He knows what he's doing.
Danny is amazing.
Oh, he's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, he's really nice guy. So yeah, big up to Danny. He's doing good.
And you're a perfect skater for this sponsorship, because you produce a lot of content on social media. So yeah, it's a win-win for both of you.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird, because before it all sort of kicked off with Rollerblade, I was putting out some stuff, but not like too much. So to me, it was a bit of a surprise, but I was actually skating the New Jacks at the time. So I was just doing aggressive skating. So yeah, I was a little bit taken back, just being like, why me? Like there's so many other better people. So I was a bit like, why me? And then yeah, but yeah, now it's all sort of changed a bit, and I'm just like pumping out the content as much as I can. So
I wanted to talk about Winterclash for a second.
yeah,
I love Winterclash. It's a great contest.
yeah.
There's a lot of people who haven't been to Winterclash. Why should people go to Winterclash? What's the experience like, and what makes it so memorable?
Man, I would say the best way to describe it would be it's like a football match, right? If people have if they've ever been to the UK or they've not been to the UK, just like just I don't know, just YouTube like football matches and just the atmosphere there where everyone's sort of just getting drunk and just enjoying it, and not even getting drunk, but just like everyone's having a good time. If you want to spectate, you can fully just spectate and just watch what's going on, because there's some insane tricks going on like all the time. And if you want to get involved in skating and do that, just yeah, everyone's really friendly. It's just yeah, it's just like a wild atmosphere pretty much. So yeah, like a football match. That's how I would sort of describe it, especially in the UK. Just everyone just shouting and getting involved, and it's almost like the crowd play more of a part than the skaters, almost, if you know what I mean. So it's just everyone's vibing off each other. When there's a good trick going on, the crowd just go mental, and then the crowd goes mental, which makes someone do something crazy. And it's just, yeah, just it's cool, man. And obviously there's so many people from around the world there in one place. So
Yeah, I think every single aggressive skater should experience Winterclash at least once if they can.
Yeah,
because it is well worth it.
Yeah, there's a few people that I've gone out with before who've taken their partners who don't skate, who don't really know much about skating at all, and even they've come away just being like, whoa, that was insane. That was like really cool. So it's even better now that they have sort of like the trade show side of it as well going on. So there's a bit more to do in the daytime, if you know what I mean, instead of just waiting for like the skating to actually sort of like kick off. There's a lot more going on, like what the Jump Street guys did with the podcast and stuff last time. I thought that was really cool. So
yeah, I like all the showcases and stuff they've been doing too.
Yeah, just gives it a bit more.
Now with sections, what was the first section you ever had in a video?
It would have been Mark Treble's video, so it would have been BHC 1. I think it was just called Black Eye Collaboration at the time, and I shared it with Scott Bagnall, and that would have been a lot of that footage would have been from the first year we went to America, which would have been like 2003, something like that. So yeah, around that time. But that was definitely the first sort of proper video sort of edit.
And what section of yours that you've done is your favorite?
Ooh, that's a good question. There was one I did for Rems. God knows what year it was. It's everything just blurs into one now. It was my friend Guy Millership did it, and we spent probably a good year and a half on it. We went to Barcelona a few times. Really thought about the trick, so probably that one. I think it's on Vimeo somewhere. I don't think it's so much on YouTube. And actually, I did an edit up at Rush Skatepark. So that was my local skate park. It had to close down, unfortunately. But yeah, that was my local park. And that was really fun filming those edits, because Jerry, the owner, would just give us the park when it was empty, so we could just use it whenever. And he was just literally just like pretty much gave us the keys, and we just like, just do what you need to do and don't hurt yourself. So,
and Rush Skatepark is where you'd been doing your skate instruction, right?
Yeah, so I was doing it up at Rush for like 5 years. So they were running for 5 years, but then they had to close down in August, unfortunately, due to the council, which really sucks. So when Rush moved into the skate park, they were told by the council that they'd probably have like at least a good 10 years there before they'd have to move. So Rush were like, okay, like that's cool. Moved in, obviously built the skate park, and then 5 years down the line, the council cut that in half, and they were like, actually, we need you out now. So they were like, well, thanks for the heads up sort of thing. So they kept trying to fight to have it in there longer, which they did for like a year maybe. And it just got to the point where the council were just like, we can't have you in here anymore, so it's closed down. And I think the building's still there. So I think that's what they were annoyed about, that they kicked them out, but they haven't developed any of it. So I think they're knocking it down to build a canal.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. And one of the councillors that actually wanted to build that said, I can't wait for it to be knocked down so I can ride my boat down the canal. It's just like, just got no idea. So it's just selfish, really. So,
And for
yeah.
those of you not from the UK, the council is like a local government, right?
Yeah, pretty
So-
much. Yeah. So it's a shame because it was such a community-based skate park. Like, it was a family-run skate park. It was just always nice and welcoming when you went there. You know, you'd have all the like mum and dad sat in the cafe just getting on, and the kids in the skate park, and yeah, it was just a nice place to be. So yeah, it's a shame, but I think they're trying to work stuff out now to try and get a new one built somewhere. So it could take a little while. So
are you still continuing with your instruction, or did you stop doing that when the skate park closed?
I stopped it a little bit. I've been doing lessons sort of out of the skate park, just in the streets. I have been trying to get it set up a bit more legit, so getting like insurance cover, and actually trying to make it into kind of like a little mini business sort of thing, just something to do on the side. So yeah, I do it now and then, but it's not quite as involved as it was with the skate park. Just obviously everyone knew that the skate park was there, and it was like they could link me to the skate park. So yeah, not quite as much. With the skate park, it was pretty much every weekend, whereas now it's probably once a month at the minute, but that's mainly because of the weather. But in the summer, it builds up quite a lot. So it's probably like once a week again in the summer.
Well, hopefully everything gets better by the summer too, you know, with all this craziness that's been happening the past couple of years.
Yeah, there was that as well. Yeah. So that kind of had a knock-on effect on everything and everyone. So, but at the same time, for skating, it's been one of the best things to happen to it. So, which is weird.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we talked about your goals, your skating goals when you were young, you know, getting sponsored, getting a pro something. What's your goals now? How have they changed?
So this kind of changed when the pandemic first hit and we were in the first lockdown. And I remember thinking to myself, because I had a lot more free time, I was still having to work, but I could work from home. And I was like, I'm just going to go skating like every day because the weather was really good. I was like, I'm just going to make a video every day skating and just try and get people out either to buy skates or just on their skates. And that's sort of where it all switched. And I was like, you know what, I felt so passionate about trying to get people into skating or just get them inspired to go out and skate. But I think that's sort of my main goal now, is just to try and inspire people to, whether it's that day, just to be like, you know what, I'm going to go out for a skate, or they might see something and be like, oh, I kind of want to pick up a pair of skates now. So I think that's my main kind of goal. And I think some of that's come from doing the lessons as well. So just seeing people progress and how much enjoyment it actually brings to their life. So
yeah, that's really cool. That's very admirable of you. It's a good goal.
Yeah. So, and it's something you can continuously do as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's cool. And that's one reason why I put out so much content with Instagram and stuff. It's just keep it ticking over. And even if it inspires one person out of I don't know, 1,000 just to buy a pair of skates or at least try it, and then for me, that's like a win-win. So
yeah, that's great. That's awesome. I want to ask you a few more questions about aggressive skating before we move on to big wheel blading.
okay.
I want to ask you, you're friends with Sam Cooper. He's done a lot of your photos for big wheel blading articles we've done, for One Magazine, for BMag. How did you meet Sam? How long have you been friends? And what was the first photo he shot of you that was published?
Oh man, so I've known Sam. Known him a good few years. I can't really pinpoint the very first time I met him. I think I probably met him sort of around at competitions and sort of stuff like that over the years. But yeah, I can't really remember the first ever time we really met. But yeah, I've probably known him properly for 3 years now, 3-4 years. And yeah, we just, oh, my dog. So yeah, we go out quite a lot getting pictures just because he lives in Bristol now.
Okay,
So
that's convenient.
Oh, my dog's playing up. The first ever picture, I think, would have been, we used to skate for a shop called Slap Tap. And I think we did like a tour with them, which Sam was on, and it probably would have been a picture there doing something. I think it was an adult fish on like this skate park ledge, maybe. So something like that. So, but now we've taken so many pictures now, it's just like, yeah, it's hard to pinpoint when and where.
Did you have any photos in print magazines back in the day?
Yeah, so we had, can you remember Unity magazine?
Yeah, I remember Unity.
Remember that? Yeah. So yeah, I think I had 2 front cover shots with them, a profile, and like loads of other like sort of numerous other shots with him. Because our friend Chris Hallam, he was sort of like the principal photographer, and he lived the next town across from where I lived. So we were skating together all the time. So he was getting a lot of like pictures of me, Mark, Al Jones, like Frazer, all that sort of crew. Because we all used to skate together like a hell of a lot. So yeah, for him it was just like an easy way to get pictures. So yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, we had quite a few back in the day. So, which is cool to look back on now. So, I mean, some of the dress choices are a bit funny what we used to wear, but yeah, it's good to look back on.
I remember, Ollie Short and Chris Doherty coming to, San Diego, and they were dressed in 6XL shirts.
Yeah.
Is that how you used to dress too?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think we all went through that stage at some point.
That's funny. What is your favorite era in rollerblading?
Ooh. Man, I think like the sort of Keep the Tat days, they were really good with that whole sort of crew of like Pay, Latimer, Julio, like Louis Zamora, all that sort of crew was just like, that was really good because that's when, I don't know, skating was super cool back then, and it was still brand new, if you know what I mean. It was just brand new stuff coming out all the time. But then I really like the era, like the sort of Haffy era, Brosco, Farmer. I don't know what years these are.
That would have been like,
when like the
2000s. Yeah,
when like Leading the Blind came out and stuff like that, it was, for me, like watching that video, and probably for a lot of other people, was a bit of a game changer. And that sort of kick started like another kind of era of skating, I felt. So yeah, and Feinberg as well. Anything, whenever Feinberg was involved with anything, that was always good. He was always good to watch. Yeah. I think like, yeah, Brain Fear Gone, Words, Leading the Blind, those 3 videos sort of, and Keep the Tat sort of shaped everything for me. It was just like, they were the sort of 4 kind of eras for me.
In your opinion, what were some of the greatest rollerblading moments in UK history?
Ooh. Man. I'm going to say Frazer's Disaster True Topporn, even though it was on American soil. It's still, I think that was up there. That was, everyone knew about that trick. Do you know what I mean? I feel when anyone gets a pro skate, I always feel that's a good milestone for the UK. It's sort of just like a, like UK stand-up sort of thing. They're sort of leaving their mark on the industry a little bit. Like people like Nick, Sam, yeah, just anything like that where a UK head gets some good recognition. And the other moment, I'd probably say Rich Taylor, man. Just, he was a moment in himself. Just, he killed it. Like, because he, like I said before, he was sort of like the local sort of hero to us. But even around the UK, he was really well known. But like, he was just killing it in the UK, and just, yeah, he was like, for me, he was like a moment in rollerblading in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely a good history you guys have there. It was skating.
I think
So many good skaters.
Yeah, there's been some like amazing tricks gone down, but I feel that would be hard to pinpoint down to three sort of moments. So yeah, there's people have done some crazy stuff like over in the UK for sure. So there's a lot of good skaters.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of good videos out there too.
Yeah.
I saw a photo of you. You were rocking the new blank skates.
Oh yeah.
Have you? I know you were mainly big wheel blading.
Yeah.
Have you been doing some aggressive skating now that you have those blank skates?
No, so I've actually got them here. So I've actually stuck on some 80 mils.
Nice.
So, which is cool. I am going to try it with the 60 mil wheels. But for now, I'm just like, I just enjoy the speed of 80. Well, and 80 and above. Anything below that, I kind of struggle. When I have sort of tried to go back into aggressive skating, it's just, yeah, I miss the speed and like the agility and the maneuverability of big wheels, I think. So I feel for me now, that's my thing.
When and why did you transition from aggressive to big wheel blading?
So this would have been, I think about 3-4 years ago, and I was filming, it was for Lade actually, for that wheel. I was trying to film like a promo edit for the signature wheel. We got a load of tricks filmed, and then I was down south in Cornwall, and it was on the seafront. There was this big wall that went across, and you had like a massive drop on the one side. You had the beach, and there was this big gap in between. So you had to jump down from the top ledge down to the landing. So it must have been like, probably only would have been like 10 foot high or something like that. But I wanted to just test the height of it first, because it was one of those gaps where you couldn't really gauge how high it was. So I was like, I'll just straight gap it first, which is never a good idea, like straight gap in anything. And as I landed, my knee just like went out from underneath me, just completely blew out. And I was, straight away with an injury, like I've definitely done something. So sort of stood up, and I was like my knee is completely shot. So that put me out of skating for like a good few weeks, good few months. And then in that period of sort of not really skating much, Rollerblade sent me some of the RB80s. Hang on, my dog's he keeps barking at me. Quiet, mate. Wait, quiet. 2 secs. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So yeah, Rollerblade sent me some of the RB80s just to try out. And straight away, I was just like, whoa, what are these? Like, these are amazing. So I tried power blade frames before, but like similar with these, you've still got a bit of a gap in between the wheels. Whereas more so with the free skates, like the wheels are so much more closer together. It's almost like you're like rocket on the middle wheels, so you could move a lot quicker. Just skating along was just like amazing. I was like, whoa, this is like, where have these been my whole life? My knees started to get better, and then I think I just took them up to the skate park one day, and I was just like, let's just try them out in the skate park. I'd seen the sort of stuff Danny was doing as well, so I guess that sort of inspired me a bit more to be like, okay, you can actually kind of do tricks on like these sort of skates. And yeah, just from there, I was just like, this is amazing. And then I was kind of using them as sort of like a rehab tool, just to like build my knee up strong. And I just found myself going out skating more and more. And then when I could start doing tricks, I was like, okay, I actually have to think about this way differently now than what I used to. Whereas before we would just look for like a decent rail, a decent ledge, like a decent gap. Whereas now I was like, I have to completely change my way of thinking. And it was almost like brand new to me. I was just like, this is sort of like rejuvenated me a bit more to go out and find stuff now. Do you know what I mean?
That's really cool.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just snowballed from there pretty much. I've just been, never really looked back on it. I love aggressive skating. If I go to like the skate park just around the corner from me, I will still put them on from time to time, but majority of the time I just enjoy just cruising around and just going really quick and jumping stuff. And yeah, it's just a great way to get around as well. A lot easier.
Is there anything you miss about aggressive skating?
I don't miss the injuries. I think the grinds. I do miss the grinds. It is fun just sort of sessioning like a box rail. I think the one thing I lack where we live is the spots. There's not much good stuff to grind around here. I think maybe if there was more stuff to do like that, I'd probably do it a little bit more. But I think my days of skating handrails are sort of, I'm through with it. So they scare me. They hurt.
Well, you say that now, but when people watch this edit you just made, you're actually grinding some rails.
I know, yeah, they're only short though. Yeah.
Which is from your older edits. I don't really remember you doing as many grinds as you're doing in this edit. Is that something you're starting to do more?
I think it's just experimenting with it, just seeing what is possible on the wheels. Because like I said, it's sort of, you just have to completely open your mind to everything, to what a trick is and what you can do on a spot now. So yeah, I think with that edit, it's just sort of just been like, okay, how far can I actually possibly grind on these, especially in like a front side on a rail. So yeah, I don't know, it's a good mixture. I'm enjoying it. That's for sure. I'm actually having so much fun going skating these days, like than ever before. So it's amazing.
The first grind you did in that new edit is a front side, and it's on a kind of like a low, long curved rail.
Yeah.
And you're just grinding your wheels.
Yeah.
What wheels were you using? Like, were you getting any wheel bite? Did you eat any shit? What was the process with that front side?
So with that stuff, right, there's a bit of a formula to it. So the wheels I had on, I was testing them. I think they were a prototype for someone. So they were quite hard anyway. They were a very hard profile. And then usually it depends on the type of rail. This is personally for me, it depends on the type of rail. You've got to absolutely cover it in wax. And usually if it's like a nice hot day, the wax will like kind of slowly melt into it, but there's still be like a thin layer of wax on top. And that's when usually you can get the wheels to sort of lose friction a little bit, and you can grind. But there is that real scary point of like, the second you get any sort of bite, there's no slowing down. It's from Mach 10 to instant like 0. Do you know what I mean? You're going from really quick to boom, you're on the floor. So it is a thin line. It's a scary line to play at times, but I don't know, just got to go for it.
Did you have any bad falls filming this section?
Nah, not too bad actually. It was all right. It was annoying because I didn't start filming until like, I think it would have been September sort of time. So we were kind of slowly coming to the end of our good weather in the UK. So I kind of wish I'd started it at the beginning of the year. So yeah, luckily I didn't get too many injuries off it. So that's the thing with it now. I find with the difference, when I used to film aggressive skating edits, I probably used to push myself a lot more, and I felt that there was a bit of pressure to try and do good stuff. Whereas now, like with this edit I've just done, I'm just sort of like, I've just thrown everything out of my head, and I'm just like, I'm just going to do what I enjoy doing, what I find fun. I don't care if it's hard or not. Like, I've had fun doing it, and I'm just like, just enjoy it. And that's kind of what this edit is. It's not like I've gone all out for it. It's just sort of like, this could be cool. Let's film that. Let's get it done, even if it's not particularly hard. So I think that's what I like with big wheeling. It's you've got a choice of how far you want to push it. If you want to just cruise, then just cruise. If you want to do little jumps, do little jumps. If you want to do bigger jumps, then so be it. So that's kind of how I feel it is with me.
Well, my first impression after watching it was like, all these spots look really fun.
Yeah.
Having a fun time. But you were still doing some tricks that would be considered like hammers. Some of the roll-ins were pretty gnarly. You did some gaps. Know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could potentially eat shit on. I noticed for a couple clips you wore a helmet. What made you decide to wear a helmet on some spots and not on others, even though some of the other ones were pretty gnarly too?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I've always played around with the idea of wearing a helmet. I I feel like this year I'm probably going to start wearing one more often. But with this, it was, if I'm not 100% confident, not with what I'm doing, but if I don't trust the spot, now I'm just like, I'm just going to chuck a helmet on just because I can, you know what I mean? So it's not that I'm doubting myself, it's more I don't trust the obstacle, really. So yeah, I'm just in my head, I'm just like, just put it on, it doesn't matter. So I just feel better having it on, because that big roll in at the end, like I was going so quick on that, and I was just like, one little slip up on that, and if I just whack my head, that's it. And I was just
See,
like,
that was a gnarly roll in.
yeah. So that's like a really old school roll in from the England video, which I think Latimer originally did. He 180'd it.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, that was always a spot that I wanted to do at least just something on. So I was just like, just roll it and like just do it in big wheels. It'll be nice and quick and fast. And it was. So I remember standing at the top, just being like, what am I doing? But I think that's the aggressive skater still in me. Do you know what I mean? You feel like you have to push yourself, and you want to, you want to do like bigger stuff. So definitely, like, it's still in me, that's for sure.
Well, that was definitely a good one for the helmet. I mean, I've been wearing a helmet now for, I don't know, 4 years, I guess. Pretty much every time I skate.
Yeah.
Just like, I feel like I've been lucky long enough. It's like
exactly. Yeah. It's like, yeah, definitely. And it's, it's not hard to put it on. I don't think it looks stupid or silly or anything like that. I respect people who choose to wear helmets more than anything. And I think as you get older, like, I'm really, really starting to just not care what anyone thinks at all. I'm just like, I'm just going to do me. If I want to wear a helmet, I'm going to wear a helmet. So, yeah.
Don't you work for a helmet company?
Yeah. So I work for Ruroc. So they actually make ski helmets. They make like full face ones, and they made like a sort of half cut one. But the only issue is that they are designed for skiers. So they, like, with the goggles, so it's a bit too domey for my liking. So I think I'm going to probably invest in like an actual skate helmet at some point and start rocking them. So
Caleb Smith skates in that helmet.
He does, yeah. Smokes him actually, yeah. He's got the chrome one, hasn't he? So they're really cool helmets.
They look awesome.
Yeah, they're sick. But for skating, they're not designed for it. And they just get a bit too hot, to be fair. So
see, I ski a lot, and I haven't seen that helmet yet on the mountains here.
Have you not?
No, but it looks awesome.
Yeah. Oh, the one that I had on, the non.
Oh, just a Ruroc, just a brand. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, they went into the motorcycle industry, so sort of taken that over a little bit. So the skiing sort of taken a little bit of a back burner. But I think they're trying to get back into that now. So, but yeah, they're cool helmet.
I mean, they look awesome. With this edit, what was your goal with it from the beginning? What did you want to achieve with it?
I think it was to just, because I've been filming for like Instagram clips pretty much, which, like, you kind of, personally for me with Instagram, I'll film something, I chuck it up, I completely forget about it, move on to the next one. Whereas with this, I was like, I haven't actually dedicated time to filming like a part in like a few years. And it's, I don't know, just I miss that feeling of like going out, getting that clip and sort of stacking those clips, and then you can sort of build on it, and you can start watching them back and being like, yeah, this is like, I want to get more. And I guess it's sort of like not an addiction, but you kind of want to keep adding to that store of clips that you've got, if you know what I mean. So I think I miss that process of carefully selecting what I want to put in there. I think that's what it was, just to go back to the old school ways of actually making a proper edit, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not more big wheel edits versus, you see a lot of clips on social media, but actual edits, because this section it's definitely a fusion of big wheel blading and aggressive skating. You're combining the two together, which is really cool. It's like the evolution of the sport almost.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All the tricks, but with the speed, and you can skate terrain that you can't do with small wheels. Like,
exactly.
You skating like you probably wouldn't want to touch them with like a 60mm wheel.
Yeah, it opens up a whole new like range of spots pretty much. I think me and Cooper did actually talk about that. We were like, there's not actually that many proper big wheel edits like that. So I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to just kind of try to do something a little bit different.
I'd like to see a full skate video with like profiles and like,
yeah,
like an intro that's like just a banger intro.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like actually someone like spending some time on it and stuff. Yeah, it'd be wicked. So yeah, it would be cool.
All those clips were filmed in Bristol.
A good majority of them would have been. There was a few clips from Liverpool. I think it was Liverpool, Bristol, Cardiff, and Cheltenham, which is just a town over from me. And it was all filmed on an iPhone as well, which is pretty cool.
No, that's rad.
So,
it's amazing what they can do now.
Yeah, oh, absolutely nuts. That was the other thing. It was sort of like we don't really have dedicated filmers so much these days, like you did back in the day. And I think I made an edit for Rollerblade. It was for their macro blades, and I did it on my phone. And I remember watching it back, thinking like, these phones are actually like decent for edits. Do you know what I mean? And that sort of triggered that idea of being like, well, in that case, I can film like a proper edit, and then that's where the big wheel blading one came from. Just sort of like, okay, let's do it.
And who helped you film it?
It's my friend Ollie Jones and Chris Hallam. I think Cooper probably filmed some of it, and you know Silver Surfer.
Yep.
Brett Davis, he filmed the big roll in Liverpool.
Okay.
On that day. So yeah.
Rad.
Yeah.
And then you edited it together yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So apologies if the editing's not too great. So it's quite basic. So but it was kind of fun just to do that, just to dabble in that and have a go. So
what did you use to edit it with?
iMovie.
Nice. That's like what Tom used for his basic. That's what Tom uses for his show. iMovie.
Oh really?
So yeah.
Oh,
it's like
really?
a UK thing.
Amazing.
iMovie.
Yeah. I was going to use is it Fusion? I've got that on my phone. And then I bought a laptop and it had iMovie, and I was like, let's just stick it up on there and just go with that. So I didn't want too much like fancy stuff going on. It's just like, just get to the point. It's just clip after clip with the skating. So
do you skate with anyone who skates the type of things you skate? Like, is there anyone else skating like you, the tricks you do?
Yeah and no. There's my friend Stephen Riddick from Wales. He's sort of into the big wheeling. We meet up like every now and then, but on a more day-to-day basis, it's usually me, Ollie Jones, and Chris Hallam. So Ollie, are you familiar with Ollie? He used to
a little bit.
So he's an incredible aggressive skater. Like that's his jam. And Chris, he big wheels, but like just more sort of cruises around. He might do like the odd sort of like little Macchio and stuff here and there. He's got the A on 80s, so he'll tend to just cruise around a bit more. But I wouldn't say there's particularly anyone I can session with the sort of skates and tricks I want to be doing. But the good thing with it now, because me and Ollie go out quite a lot, because we skate completely different stuff. A lot of the time over the summer, we were going out on our bikes with our skates in the back, because you can cover a lot more ground. So we would go out on the bikes, look for spots, and then I might say to him like, oh, that would be cool if you did that, because I know what he's capable of and he knows what I'm capable of. So we would sort of bounce off each other's ideas and just sort of pick out different spots for each other, which is just kind of like a nice mix, really. It was kind of, we're both looking out for each other for what we feel will be a good spot and that sort of stuff. So
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Do they have any sort of like urban group night skates or anything like that around where you live?
Nah, not really. We're trying to organize it in Bristol. So there's a thing called Bristol Roller Group. Yeah, Bristol Roller Group. They organize like weekly skates. But what we're going to try and do this year is try and organize more sort of freestyle, sort of big wheel, just like city cruises, just sort of cruising around. Because I don't know if you've seen the scene in London. That's what they do. They do Friday night skates and Sunday strolls, and that's with, I think it's London Street Skates they're called, in London Skate Life. And just whenever you go to that, it's such a vibe. It's just like, it's such an incredible atmosphere. Like people have like the speakers on their back and everyone's just having a good time. And but they properly marshal it. So they have guys wearing like high vis vests. They'll skate out in front, stop all the traffic, make sure everyone's safe. Like they'll keep everyone compact, which is what we would lack in Bristol, because it would be like such a smaller thing. So you kind of have to stick to the pavements a little bit. So
Yeah, I hosted
yeah,
some skates like that in Texas.
yeah,
Like they would get like 100 people, and it would be like me and like one guy like
yeah,
keeping the whole thing together.
yeah. Yeah, okay, I can imagine it's quite hard. Yeah, it's like, it's, I don't know about you, but those atmospheres are really good. I really enjoy them. So
Yeah, I love
there's
it.
no, yeah, there's no pressure on anyone. It's just, you just go out and have a good time. So
And
yeah, good
then
man.
what's your current setup?
So apart from the blank, which I think I'm just going to skate now and then, that's my current setup. So the RB80 Pro X boot and liner, and then I've got the Endless 80, which was a black frame, but it's proper scratched up now, so it's pretty much silver. And then I've got 80 hydrogens in there. So, but I kind of swap between 80 and 90. So just depending on what wheels I've got at the time, pretty much.
What's good is that you have your rollerblade sponsorship, because the hydrogen wheels are pretty good that they make.
Oh yeah, they're really good. Yeah, really good wheels. So yeah, no issues with them at all. So, and they've been really good rollerblade, to be fair. Whenever I've needed stuff. So yeah, good. Big up to rollerblade.
Did you ever try any of the tri-skate setups or bigger, like in the setups, 4x100 or 4x110?
Yeah, I've got some twister edge ones, which are 110s. That's the biggest I've gone. So that's 3x110. I think that's it for tri-wheel skates. And then yeah, 90, 4x90 and 4x80. That's all I've ever really skated. But I'll only tend to use the 110s for like real long distance or like marathons. And just, I might throw them on every now and then just for something different. But I think I prefer the four-wheeled skates because they feel a little bit more familiar to what I'm used to.
What's your favorite rollerblade boot?
The RB80. I think because it's a little bit wider. I love the look of the twisters. I think I prefer the look of the twister, but they kind of suck my foot in a little bit. So I've got quite a wide foot anyway. And I think the RB80 is probably the comfiest skate I've ever worn. So there's been days where I've been out for like literally 9-10 hours and not taking my skates off, and they still feel amazing. So, which is quite rare.
Have you ever had like the desire to skate like a wizard style setup, or like those endless frames that are more like for wizard skating? Have you ever done that? You wanted to?
No, I've not. No, I would like to give it a go. Yeah, it could be cool. Just something different. I've actually been looking a lot at that sort of kind of style skating. I don't really know what you call it. You know where?
Like Flatland?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Flatland. I've tried to like do a few bits like that, but I don't know if I've got the movements. I don't know if my hips have got it in me, to be fair. Yeah, it would be cool to try it, definitely. Or to try and incorporate that between tricks. But I guess that's sort of like what the mushroom sort of blader guys do, don't they? So,
I
which
think
is,
you would have a unique take on it though, with your
yeah,
tricks are different.
yeah,
So it'd be pretty cool.
yeah, it could, yeah, might be something to look into. So,
It seems like a workout doing all that movement with the hips and everything.
oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. I think what I struggle with is there's so much going on with the movement. In my head, I'm just like, it's just too much. So I just skate along straight.
Well, hopefully your friend over at Endless will send you a setup that you could try doing some of
Try
those
it, yeah. See how I get
tricks
on.
with.
Try and make a flatland edit.
What's your favorite obstacle to skate? Like if you could just skate one thing over and over all day, what would it be?
Something really quick. So either like, it sounds really boring, like a really smooth floor that went on for like miles and miles, and I'm talking like really smooth, or I quite like a roll in, like a really steep, quick roll in. I think I'm just sort of addicted to the speed. I think that's what it is. I'm a bit of a speed demon with it. Just like going quick, I think. So yeah, maybe just a big fat roll in that can just stand at the top and just roll down. So, or jumping from like blocks to blocks. They're usually quite fun. Just
Yeah,
jumping.
you like to do those. I see you do those quite
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that sort of stuff.
Do you have any parking garages there you can skate down?
Yeah, we got a few. The ones that are more local to me, unfortunately, when it rains, they get quite wet. Which kind of sucks, even though a lot of them are like really well covered. I think the cars sort of bring the wet in with them. But yeah, there's a few good ones. So there's some better ones in Bristol, some like bigger ones. But you tend to get chucked out in the really big ones.
I miss skating those. We don't have any
Yeah.
anywhere near where I live.
I'm
So
getting it up. Oh man, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, they're always good fun.
yeah, when I used to do my Monday night skate, I would it would basically be like a 30 mile, like 20 to 30 miles every Monday. And it was basically go from like garage to garage around the city and just like bomb all sorts of garages.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there is something about him. It's just, I don't know, it's got a bit of an atmosphere to him when you're in there. It's just cool. It's just different.
And then for just like long distance skating,
What's
you
that,
do
sorry?
a little. I said you're also doing some long distance skating, a little bit here and there.
Yeah, now and then. So I'm going to do the Berlin Marathon again this year. I did that, I think it was 3 years ago or 2 years ago. But yeah, there's not many times where I just sort of dedicate just to purposely go out and do loads of miles. It's more, I guess it's more just like a slow, steady sort of pace and just covering some ground. Like when the weather's good, just put my headphones on and just sort of go with no intentions of like going anywhere sort of thing, just seeing where I end up and then sort of skating back. So yeah, not really purposely done long distance, if that makes sense. So, yeah, but I think a lot of that is because around here is quite hilly. So there's a lot of hills. And some of the surfaces can be a little bit rough in places. So I think if I had like a big circuit route that I could do that I knew was flat, smooth, then I would probably sort of like end up doing like laps and stuff there maybe. But it's just a bit on and off around here to do that. The same with Bristol because it's pretty much on a hill, so which is kind of annoying. It's all right if you're going down.
I used to do a lot of long distance skating because in Texas there was a lot of trails, like nice trails, so
Yeah, I bet.
it was easy.
Yeah.
And here it's where I live now, it's just like dirt roads and
yeah,
dirt trails.
You got the mountains and stuff, right?
Got the mountains, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Amazing, I'm right in the middle of ski country. 10 minutes to the mountain from my house.
Really? That's so good.
Actually, so oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, have you got proper snow at the minute then?
We're actually supposed to be getting a foot of snow tonight.
A foot of snow, bloody hell.
Yeah. So we haven't had a lot of snow this season.
Right.
But one of the mountains, like I have passed 2 mountains. One of them gets a lot of snow. They have like their own cloud. It's called the J cloud. It's called JP.
Okay.
There's just a cloud that drops snow in it all day.
Okay.
So it's like got tons of snow. The other mountain by closer to me doesn't have a lot. It's been good. Like you can still get in the trees and everything, but
yeah,
should be good tonight. So
amazing.
And then it's been I've skied now 16 days in a row. So
sick. Yeah, I bet it's so good. I've never skied. That's one thing I really want to give a go one day. Definitely. Always say it, but you need to actually make it happen.
If you want to come out and visit, you got a place to stay.
Yeah, man. No, sick. Yeah,
close
sick.
by.
Might set you up on that. I'm
actually coming to Montreal and go skate.
I'm actually coming to Utah in May to stay with Nick Swan.
Okay, sick.
That should be cool. Yeah. So now traveling has become a little bit more accessible. So yeah, you never know. Might be able to get out there one day. Definitely.
Now Nick Swan's a really good big wheel blader.
Oh, he's amazing.
Kind of similar stuff to you. Who's some of your favorite big wheel guys to watch?
So Nick's definitely one of them. Obviously Danny, Lomax does some absolutely insane stuff. I quite like that. I quite like Nicola Torelli. He does some cool stuff. Have you heard of Jazz? She's on Instagram, Australian girl.
No.
I'm not sure on her last name, but she just cruises around. But the stuff she puts out is always like clear blue skies, and it's just fun stuff to watch. So yeah, there's a few more people on like Instagram and stuff which are just enjoy watching them. So kind of enjoy in watching a lot of beginners as well. I don't know, it's just something endearing about it and refreshing that you can see they're really trying and how happy they are when they get stuff. That sort of stuff inspires me quite a lot, to be fair. So, which is weird.
Yeah, that's cool. I always felt big wheel blading, was kind of like, at least when you started doing it, it had the same feeling as when you first started aggressive skating. It's like this new, fresh
Yeah.
thing. It's like
No,
reinventing the
definitely.
sport.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, it's cool. It's like a whole new world.
And is there anyone who's influenced your big wheel skating style?
I'd say definitely Danny. Nick. Yeah, Nick Swan. Some of the mushroom blader guys, like Joey and is it Todd?
Yeah, Joey and Todd.
Those two. I don't know. I get inspiration from a lot of places. So yeah, just everywhere. Even like aggressive skating, a few aggressive skaters and stuff. Just I don't know. A lot of the time I just go out and just look at stuff and be like, oh, it could be cool. Just give that a go. Just try and make it up on the spot. So, but yeah, no, definitely like those sort of guys that get inspiration off. So, or they'll give me the inspiration to go out and get my skates on. So,
where do you want to see your skating in the future?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I definitely want to still be like, so I try and keep my body fit, work out quite a lot, eat well, stretch. So it would be nice to be able to kind of keep doing what I'm doing now, jumping around, but I know that's not always going to be a thing. So I think maybe just a bit of everything, just having skates on my feet. It doesn't matter if it's fitness, if it's like just recreation, just cruising about, whether it's doing small jumps. I think just being on skates, I think that's where I just see myself just being on skates and doing whatever feels right at the time. So
yeah, awesome.
Cool.
And for working out and staying in shape, is that something you've always done, or is that something you've recently started doing?
I've always kind of tried to look after myself to an extent, but more so the past sort of year. So luckily at work, they built like an in-house gym. And we get a free PT trainer each week. So I've sort of utilized that. Pretty much every lunchtime, it's literally like the room underneath me at work. I'm just like, I could either sit here and eat my food for an hour, or I could just go to the gym for like half an hour, 40 minutes, blast that out, and then eat my dinner. So I'm just like, just use the gym. And it's made a massive difference because I hurt my back just over a year ago. I put that out. And so, yeah, just like strengthening everything, I feel so much better for it. So definitely feel a lot healthier. It's helped my skating. And yeah, stretching. I think stretching is probably the biggest advantage that I've had since doing it. I think I've stretched
stretching
every
is
day.
very important.
Yeah. And it's when you don't stretch, like if there's a day where you don't stretch, you really feel it. Not feel it, but you can tell you haven't stretched. It makes you appreciate how good it is when you actually do it. So yeah, definitely recommend stretching out as best as you can.
Well, that's a pretty cool work perk.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's nuts, absolutely nuts. And the PT guy, Kieran, he was just working in the warehouse, and he used to be a PT trainer. And they just sort of approached him and were like, "Look, we're gonna build a gym. Do you want to sort of be like the in-house PT trainer?" And he was just like, "Yeah." So for him, it's like a dream job, and he just gets to help everyone else out. So, and you can kind of like I've sat down with him and sort of told him what I do, and like it's a lot of impact on my body and stuff. So he's kind of designed a workout around what I need for skating and stuff. So because I'd been to gyms before in the past, and to be honest, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I got a bit more of an idea of what I need to be doing now. So because of him. So yeah, it's cool.
And the company Ruroc, what do you do for them?
So I just work in shipping. So a lot of it's sort of customer base, helping out with like returns. If anything's been sent out wrong, we get like return labels out to them. Just sort of fixing a lot of customers' sort of issues really. So that's my sort of Monday to Friday sort of gig. So, but then recently with Rollerblade, I've sat down with Danny and the UK distributors, which is TKC. So I'm helping run their UK Rollerblade Instagram page now. And we've sort of talked about loads of things we can do this year. So getting a bit of money for that each month. So hopefully, fingers crossed down the line, that might become something a bit more involved, which that'd be like a little dream come true as well, having a sort of job within skating in some sort of way.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah, that would be really cool. I hope that works out for you.
Yeah, no, same. Be amazing. So hopefully.
Like the Rollerblade US headquarters is an hour south of me.
Really?
Yeah,
Sick.
so I got my friend Miles works there. It's one guy I ski with the most.
Yeah.
And skate with. A couple guys
Yeah.
that I skate with work there. So it's pretty cool
Yeah.
to have it an hour
Yeah.
south, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Yeah. Is it quite a big headquarters or?
Yeah, it's large, but because it's owned by Technica Group. So it's Technica skis, Nordica skis, Blizzard skis, and then Rollerblade. And Rollerblade has their own warehouse. Like there's a huge warehouse for like the ski stuff, and then there's like a separate warehouse. They actually just separated the warehouses, but Rollerblade has its own warehouse now. And all the Rollerblade staff moved in there. They have their own offices, and like it's like an official like Rollerblade building.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Cool. That's local. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So I watched one of your things the other day, and you were talking to someone about how they owned. Is it Nordica? Did you say?
Yeah, Nordica, Nordica, Technica, and Blizzard.
Right. Yeah. Because I never knew that. I didn't know there was like a whole sort of skiing side to it. I know they did the skate to ski or ski to skate thing, so that makes a bit more sense now to why they sort of did that thing.
It's because when Technica Group purchased one of those ski brands, maybe Nordica or something, they also owned Rollerblade. It was like a package deal, so they kind of like got Rollerblade with it.
Yeah. So, that's cool though. Yeah, when it works. Yeah,
similar, you know, like
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
even though it might be hard to convince some of the ski guys to that, but you know,
can imagine. Yeah.
They do push the skate to ski. A lot of the mountains here have ski schools, so it's like a high school for skiers, and they're really expensive. And all you do is you ski all day, and then you just you do your coursework.
Yeah,
and all those schools have, not all of them, but some of them have skate parks, and you go in there and they have like rollerblades and whatever. And my friend Miles, he goes to the different schools and gives them skates, and they do like slalom on off-season training on inline skates.
Amazing. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, don't, like you said, it kind of they go kind of hand in hand, really, don't they? Mm-hmm. So kind of makes sense. That's cool. They do that. It's good. They're pushing it.
Yeah, they are. It's and being so close to these skiers really helps. Yeah, we need a few more vans and people doing that around the country, but
Yeah, man. Sick.
So what do you like to do for fun when you're not skating or working or?
So chilling out with my dog, going on like big walks. I recently bought a van to convert into a camper. I say recently, but it's probably about almost 2 years now. So it's kind of a long, slow project. So yeah, I like going away in that, up into like the national parks, into the mountains and lakes, going out on my bike, just being outdoors. I think that's, with the pandemic, with the lockdowns and stuff, I think I really realized that I just love being outdoors more than anything. And luckily during that, I was able to get out a lot, but it kind of just made me realize even more that, yeah, this is what I love doing. Just being out and about, really. Just, yeah, like mountains, lakes. There's a forest quite close to me, the Forest of Dean. So it's nice to get out there, especially on the bike. So yeah, just hanging out with friends. Just the general stuff, really. PlayStation, music. So yeah, I'm not a big drinker, never really have been. So that's not really anything, but it's like always on my list of things to do, to go out and get drunk. So I enjoy like a few drinks here and there, but yeah, it's never like my main agenda. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love to come there to the UK and just check out all the cool parks and landscapes.
Yeah. No, there's some really good stuff around here for sure. I think as I've got older, I've sort of really started to appreciate how beautiful England actually is and what it's got to offer. So yeah, there's some really good places. It's just the weather. I mean, we do get really good weather. But yeah, there's just times where it's just really unpredictable. I think that's the only thing that kind of like lets it down. Like if you said you were coming over for 2 weeks and you were like, what's the weather going to be like? I'd be like, honestly, I couldn't tell you. Like it could be raining for 2 weeks. It could be really sunny. So
I know better than ask that question.
yeah, just leave it out. Just like, just accept it.
I mean, like you hear it's the same thing. I mean, whatever they say the weather's going to be, it's going to be the opposite.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the most annoying part about it is you can't really plan. That's the annoying part, I think. So I think if England had really good weather all the time, it'd be even better. So
well, then all the people wouldn't leave to go to Spain and
exactly, yeah, they could stay
Malta. They all stay there.
Yeah, it just didn't go anywhere. So yeah, but no, it is a nice country for sure. But yeah, it's just the weather. It's just a bit of a letdown.
I heard that I would listen to it earlier, like a year ago or something. You did a segment for the BBC about inline skating.
Yeah. So that was last summer. Again, so this is all through Instagram. They had seen, so it was BBC Radio Gloucestershire, which is the county that I live in. This girl approached me. She said, "Oh, we'd like to talk to you about trying to get you on our evening show," which I think was like a 3-hour slot. So they rang me and they were like, "Yeah, we want to get you on the show as like a sort of like a guest, where we'd talk about skating, how long I've been doing it, blah blah blah, and then introduce a few songs." I was like, "Yeah, like sounds amazing. If it's gonna get the skating out to like more people, then yeah, 100% down for it." So I did that. Unfortunately, couldn't get to go into the studio because of like lockdowns and stuff like that, which kind of sucks. I had to do it over Zoom. Yeah, it was a really good experience. Just a lot of it was pre-recorded, but the funniest part was having to like introduce songs. So I didn't think I'd have to do that. But yeah, it was cool just to talk about skating, and then from that they did like a little sort of like a little edit, I suppose. They wanted me to send over like a few clips just to sort of go with it, just to show what I did and just talk about skating. And now recently I've had BBC Radio Bristol approach me about the same thing, and I told them I'd already done one for Gloucestershire, and they were like, "Okay, well, we'll try and do something a bit different." So now they want to make a video of what it's like to skate in Bristol and how we find stuff to skate if we get into trouble, and just sort of how we go about it. So that should be quite cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed within the past sort of year or so. The amount of people and companies and everything who didn't even look twice at skating, they're so much more aware of it these days than what they used to be. Like, obviously we've been in it for a long time, so it's always been a big deal to us, but yeah, there's definitely more people taking note of it who know nothing about it, and they think it's really cool. So that's definitely one thing I've noticed for sure. There's a lot more people taking interest in it.
Yeah, a host knew absolutely nothing about inline skating that you talked to on the show.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and post a link to that segment in the description below so people can listen to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I thought it was pretty interesting as far as, just like talking about the sport of inline skating to a random person and random people on the radio,
Yeah. No, exactly. It's like, and that was the cool thing about it. It was, they literally knew absolutely nothing. And all they'd seen is like a few clips on Instagram here and there. So it was cool to just sort of trying to educate them on it a little bit. But it's kind of hard because there's so much different sides to skating, but it's kind of hard to which bits you talk about. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, for me, it was sort of like, do I delve into like the more aggressive side of it or the more big wheeling side of it? It's, you've got to try and find that middle ground, just because I think a lot of the time, if you want to get people into it, you don't want to scare them away by saying, you got to chuck yourself down a huge set of stairs or grinding rails and stuff. You want to approach them in slowly and friendly, if you know what I mean. So yeah.
So with Instagram, you're getting close to 30,000 followers. You still got a little ways to go. So
Yeah.
I'll have your link I have your Instagram link in the description below so people can follow you, get that going. Why did you choose Instagram as a platform to kind of showcase your style of skating? And are you on any other social media like TikTok or anything like that? YouTube?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I've always kind of used Instagram anyway. Sort of just would upload stuff every now and then. And like I said before, is when the first lockdown kicked in. That's when I was kind of like, I'll just upload something every day, sort of thing, just to keep it sticking over. And I think with Instagram at the time, I had no interest in TikTok, and it just felt a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, like personal, I suppose. Like the people who followed you were following you because they probably wanted to follow you and stuff like that. They weren't just following you just for the sake of it. So yeah, I think that's why I chose Instagram with that. And then I went on to TikTok for a little bit, wasn't feeling it. Then I've recently gone back on it, and I pretty much just upload the same sort of stuff, just upload it onto there. But it's definitely a lot different to Instagram. I don't feel it's way more. I don't feel like it's as personal at all. Like you get a lot of people messaging on Instagram who want like tips or advice, and they just want to say hello. Whereas on TikTok, it's just nothing pretty much. I think it's people just they like stuff just for the sake of it, if you know what I mean.
How's your followers on TikTok?
I think it's like 14,000 or something. So
it's growing pretty
yeah
quick.
And then the other day, actually, it was really weird. I put up one video, and it got to 1 million views. I was like, what the hell? And then within like another week, it was 2 mil, and then another week later, it was like 3 million. I was like, I think that's the difference between TikTok and Instagram. Like I said, there's so many people on TikTok that they don't really care. They'll just like stuff just because it's a popular thing at the time. Whereas I feel with Instagram, it's a bit more engaging, I suppose. You know what I mean?
It did happen with Chad Hornish. He posted that clip of him doing that backside stall at the skate park in Dallas on Instagram stories, and that had millions of views too.
Yeah. So yeah, it is possible for sure. Like it happens to a lot of people. I feel personally for me, it's TikTok doesn't feel as engaging. So yeah, I feel like Instagram's a bit more of a tougher cookie to break at times.
Consider yourself an influencer?
No. So people say this to me at work all the time, like, "Oh, you're an influencer," but I'm like, I don't know. I guess with or without a following, I would still be out skating every day, and I would probably still upload videos anyway, even if I had like 500 followers, just purely because I enjoy going skating and filming it. So we've always done that anyway. It gives you a little bit more motivation sometimes to go out to try and get a clip maybe. And I forgot where I was going with this. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just skating. I'm just a skater. So I wouldn't class myself as an influencer, but I can see maybe where that would come from. I guess I feel like I've got a bit of a duty, especially with sponsors, that you should do your part. I always feel that. I feel if you're going to get given free stuff, you should do your part and represent. I've always sort of felt like that with that. So I guess in a way it's kind of an influencer, but not. But I just see myself as a skater, definitely.
And is there any goals you had with the channel, with your Instagram, or any goals you have in the future?
No, not really. It's more like I don't think about it too much, to be honest, with Instagram. Like I said, I'll upload. I try and upload every day. Once it's uploaded, I just pretty much forget about it, move on to the next day. The only thing I've learned through Instagram is that there is a lot of opportunity on there if you use it right, and you don't know who's watching your stuff. So that's one thing I've learned on there. So part of me is like, just keep it going, just see what happens. Yeah, I think my main goal is just to try and just inspire, even if it's just one person, just to go out and skate. So that's always like my main goal. Just to try and inspire people, just to either buy a set of skates, give it a go, or just to enjoy watching it, I suppose. Just appreciate it.
And you filming most of your own clips on Instagram, or do you have people filming you?
No, with the 360 camera, you can film yourself, but majority of the time we'll just film it on the phone, just sort of pick it up and just point and shoot. So sometimes we might think a bit more how it's going to look. But yeah, majority of the time it's just like, let's just film that. Just why not?
And which 360 camera do you have?
The GoPro Max.
How do you enjoy it?
Yeah, they're amazing cameras, man. It's incredible how quick it is to edit. You can just do it all on your phone. So within like 2 minutes, you can like download it onto your phone and have the clip. So for that reason, it's really good.
What's the pros and cons of filming with the 360 camera? You've seen a lot of people film with them, especially on big wheels.
Yeah.
And
I think I don't know. Do you mean like
well, I see some people film with them, like they're going down the street through a city, and it's just it doesn't stitch together well, right? So it's like,
okay, yeah,
it just doesn't look realistic.
Yeah,
on certain things. Sometimes it looks really good, and sometimes it doesn't. So, do you ever have problems like things don't come out like you expect, or come out better than you expect?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think it does. It plays a big part in where you point the camera, definitely. And sometimes you do have to kind of think more about kind of what's around you and what's going on. But yeah, there's times where what you think might be a really cool clip, you're just like, actually, that doesn't really work. And then other times, vice versa, you might film something that you think is going to be really good and it's not. So yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to it. I think it's just you just got to use it right if you can. So, but they're ideal for just going out and just getting like a quick clip.
I've got the Insta 360 camera, the new one.
Yeah.
And I still haven't really got into it. I've had it for like, I don't know, 7 months. I filmed a few things. I filmed skiing with it once, and I haven't even actually like taken anything off of it yet. So I got tons of footage on it.
Yeah. It is good. I think like once you start doing a few, you might get a bit more hooked on it, but it does get to a point where it feels a little bit samey, perhaps, if you know what I mean. It's all very similar. And then I think that comes down to what the user's doing with their body to make it a bit more entertaining, or if it's like your surroundings are really, really good and sort of make the clip a lot better. So yeah, sometimes it can just be, it can all look the same a little bit, if you know what I mean. So
awesome. There's I get on Instagram quite a bit, but I don't really watch all the videos on there. But your videos, I watch quite a bit. I enjoy seeing them, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with this year. The summer comes around.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, which is pretty much my last question for you. What do you love about inline skating that's kept you in the sport for such a long time?
Someone asked me this the other day, actually, and they were like, is it the adrenaline rush? And I was like, nah, I don't think it is, because maybe back in the day, but these days it's a lot more chilled out. So I wouldn't say it's all about adrenaline. I honestly think it's the feeling. I guess it's like the endorphins being released into my brain when I'm out skating, and just how happy it makes me feel and how good I feel afterwards. And like, I'm sure you're probably the same and everyone else. If you've had a bad day skating, or just completely swap that day around, and you'll just feel like really good about yourself. So I think maybe that's what's kept me in it, is just how, I guess it's just kept me on track, like mentally, just like it's a bit of focus. It's kept me fit, and it's just enjoyable. And there's a social side to it as well. So I guess there's not really one answer to that. It's all like a mixture of things. It's my friends are doing it. Yeah, it gets you out and about, gets you to travel, meet new places, like, you know, get to talk to people like you and stuff. So yeah, it all just comes together as one. So I think that's what it is. It's a collaboration of loads of little things. So, but yeah, I don't think it's the rush of doing something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more
Awesome.
that after feeling. So maybe I'm addicted to that, just the knowing I'm going to feel amazing afterwards, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I love asking that question because everyone has a fairly different answer,
Yeah.
which you would expect everyone to kind of have the same answer, but it's not necessarily the case.
It's a hard one to, when you really think about it. It's quite a tough one to sort of break down. So, yeah.
So that's all I have for you with this interview. I think we covered quite a bit. I'm going to have a link to your new edit up here and in the description below so people could check that out. So I recommend everyone check it out because it's pretty badass, and you should draw some inspiration
It means
from
a lot,
Si's edit.
coming from someone like you. Yeah, and honestly. So,
well, thank you very much. And I always enjoy working together with you, and the collaborations we've done with Sam were really fun. And I'm sure we'll be doing more collaborations in the future.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, for sure. Watch your space.
And this is actually the first time we've done anything, face to face. Usually it's over email.
Yeah.
So this is a nice change, and I kind of like it better.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. Yeah, it's a bit more personal, isn't it?
Yeah, so, and a little less work as far as the writing goes.
Yeah, no, definitely. We get to compare beards as well.
That's right. Yeah, we'll see where yours is at coming up.
I was going to say, yeah, I'll start growing it out, see where I can get it to.
Well, awesome. Well, I thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Then and Now Blading podcast. I look forward, like I said before, to seeing everything you come up with, new edits in the future, new tricks on the Instagram channel. And I'll have to follow you on TikTok too. And I'll have links to everything you have social media wise, YouTube, everything in the description below. So everyone can check it out. I want to say bye. And I hope to see you in person, maybe in the UK, maybe Winterclash sometime.
Yeah, man. We'll get something sorted out. Yeah, if I can get over there, or you come over here, or do both, or we'll sort it out. We'll get it done.
Or if you ever make a trip to the Rollerblade headquarters over here, then kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, true. And go skiing as well, free birds.
I mean, yeah, you could do. I mean, if you come here, you go to Rollerblade, ski, and then we go to Montreal, and they have two really good indoor skate parks. That's only 2 hours away.
Yeah. All right. Sounds like a no-brainer.
The plan.
Wicked.
All right.
Amazing. Cheers, Jan.
We'll talk about it later. Take care.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching this interview with Si Coburn. Make sure you watch his edit. It's on the Big Wheel Blading YouTube channel, and there'll be a link to it below. It's really rad, and I think you will definitely enjoy it. And I hope you liked this interview. If you did, make sure and hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon to be notified of all new uploads. I have links to my social media in the description below. I have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so go ahead and follow me on those. And if you want to support this channel and you like what I'm doing, I also have links to my Patreon page and a PayPal donation page. Now, Patreon members will receive exclusive content not available on YouTube, such as video, photos, written content, and even audio that's just part of my collection for the past 20 years, and it's a lot of cool stuff that's exclusive to the Patreon. So I have a link to Patreon in the description below. Thanks for watching episode 15 of the Then and Now Blading podcast. I look forward to seeing you all at the next episode.